Hi, this is my 31st video. Thank you again for watching my videos, for liking my videos, engaging with my videos. Uh, I hope that my videos are insightful, relatable to some of you. Um, as you can see, I'm still hiding my identity, and as you know, as it's because I don't want this to be used against me. I'm currently employed, even though my employers are very aware participant of what's happening to me. Um, I'd rather not have them use this against me. So that's why I'm hiding my identity. But thank you all of you who've been watching. But the goal for me, the goal of me making these videos is to testify about and talk about my targeting. Um, and hoping that my videos can help somebody else. Unfortunately, when on August 19, 2019, when I started experiencing V2K, I was so lost, so confused in what was going on, and because of that, I really started doubting myself and started, obviously it's quite traumatic experience to first of all experience all these things that V2K slash synthetic telepathy can do to a person. But on top of that, not knowing, not being educated about it makes it worse. So although I don't have any firewalls to stop what's going on to me with me, at least I'm more educated now, and that's because I did some research. I've watched a lot of testimonies, and I've seen a lot of the patterns that are just exactly the same with what's happening to me. This is my 31st video. In this video, I just want to kind of give an update of what's going on since the last time I've made a video. So I'm currently employed. As I mentioned, my employer is, doing the same routine where they are participating in my targeting, which consists of, some kind of a bit of gaslighting, direct conversations, some, you know, obviously making me feel like I'm not welcome. This obvious tells where they would say some keywords, some trigger words, right, and just to let you know that they're part of it. Some nonsensical things where perhaps like my boss would say something kind of, I know she's a very smart person, but she would down, like she would say something that's obvious that she wants a reaction out of me. She wants me to get mad, or others want me to get mad, or trying to get a reaction out of me, trying to agitate me, in many ways, trying to distract me. I would work on something, now there's nowhere, something else will come up, like, so I cannot stay focused on work, kind of sabotage my work with that, with all different tactics. But I'm still there. And you just gotta understand that that's what they're gonna do. That's what I'm gonna expect wherever I go. Just because as a target individual, the goal is to destroy you in every sense. Your self-esteem, um, your self-image, your confidence, all of that. It seems like that's what they're trying to target. So still working. Um, it's for work. I keep myself very busy with work, but at work I know what to expect. I know that things I've done in a subtle way, but at the same time they want to make sure that I know that they're part of it, right? So the typical trigger words they like to say, the repetitive terms, they say during meetings, they, out of nowhere, they will say something like, like die or something, like just quickly while they're just talking, like in the meeting, and I catch that. So and they're all aware of it, so it's like a team effort, I would say. And I know this is quite common for a lot of target individual, and I've seen at the testimonies. But I'm still employed. When it comes to living situation, this, as I mentioned in prior videos, this new new roommates, new people moving in, moving out, and they all they partaking in the gaslighting, partaking in the targeting, partaking in the same behaviors as I mentioned before, as expected. Every other month there's somebody new. In one case, somebody comes with multiple people. It's the same routine. Like they're all young. I think the oldest are like maybe late 20s. That's probably the oldest. I'm probably so yeah. So really young. Obviously they all try to present themselves as something else. Trying to show like this very social awareness image that's really just an image. And as I've done more of my education, I know that it's all about deceiving and showing yourself as something else just so the target individual has these false correlations, right? Yeah, in some cases, I've heard that the perps, the people that are stalking, are in certain race, certain gender, certain, and it is all different. But I know that it's just to deceive me. It's not what I see. It's really the people behind them are probably not what they're trying to approach. So, and and me being aware of what this program is all about and who is targeted, I know that what they appear to be is not the truth, right? I know there's a lot of women that have been targeted. I know there's a lot of vulnerable people that have been targeted, and who they're trying to present themselves just doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron of some sort. Um, but with that being said, I'm still here. I'm still living in the same location. I deal with the perps the way I deal with them. Just maintain politeness. I know they try to agitate me, try to get me mad. Trying to, like when I work, they really, and I'm focused on something. They do a lot of noise campaign. Um, so that's the same. In regard of the one thing that really actually impacts the most destructive to me is the V2K. But before I move on with V2K and the updates there, I want to talk about the directed energy and what's been happening. They've cranked it up really, much higher. I feel like radiation vibrations like coming on uh, I don't want to be graphic, but my private areas and other areas that are very kind of degrading. And I do feel my body reacting to that now. My bowel movements and everything else, they're just reacting differently. Uh, you know, pains from, I feel like my feet are still targeted, like vibration, just feeling vibration in my feet, like, and then my organs is just, I feel pain in my like liver area, kidneys. It's just like it's on and off. It's like somebody turns it on and turn it off. So that's been cranked up, um, and yeah. So that's definitely. I think they really increased that a lot. So I deal with it the best I can, but I'm not gonna, when it comes to protection or shielding, and I don't know can really work. This is military grade weaponry, and as a civilian, there's not that much I can use to protect myself. So I don't want to spend too much money in things that are not gonna work and end up hurting myself. And so I'm just I'm just dealing with that. But it's not the most destructive tool they have really. For me, is the V2K or synthetic telepathy. Those two terms to me, I'm putting them together because I don't know what's specific to it. Because in one hand, and this the V2K where I can hear like an actual human being, interacting with me. I feel like somebody from maybe even the building can say something and I can hits me directly. Um, And then the synthetic telepathy, where it's like my thoughts are actually manipulated, where it's something deeper, where I feel like my conscious is completely just played with and manipulated. My thoughts are manipulated. It's just amazing. And with time goes, I keep saying it's becoming more and more ingrained in me. Um, and it's crazy, there are like some basic things where like, why am I doing this? Like I just realized I go somewhere and like, what did I get? Like what was I doing? It's my thoughts are just so manipulated at this point that I can be really influenced to do things. But unless there's something so crazy, like I will do it. Like if, for example, if I was manipulating to like, okay, let me go grab a glass of water, I would just assume that's me. But when they go into like disturbing, grotesque things, that's when I know it's being controlled. So, but it's been a lot of manipulation, a lot of degradation, as always. My memories are continuously being played with to just changed into things that are more disturbing or add some narrative just to disgust me, to try to create that same persona. The same persona build is continuously going on. The thing is, this constant seesaw, this constant dialogues that the V2K, the synthetic therapy is going on in my brain, trying to break trying to change me, trying to create this false persona in me is so constant. But with education and knowing that this is somewhat of a routine, for this program where they try to change the individual they're targeting when you use the V2K. When you reach to the level of targeting one is V2K and this disturbing, this synthetic telepathy is applied on a target. It's just like at that point they're just trying to change the individual. It seems to me, at least, that's, I can only speak for me, but it seems like that's what they're trying to do. It's like constant, non-stop trying to like create this false persona, and the way they're doing it is basically the same as before. As I was saying, they manipulate my thoughts, right? So my thought process is completely always going left, always going the wrong way, trying to get to me. It's just like I have no clarity. It's just something is just always turning into something else. Perception is always changed. I mean, it's incredible. As I keep saying, this technology, this weapon is just so diabolic, but incredible. It's scary to think that this is how far this is where perception can also be changed. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I can't even believe like I'm experiencing it, and I'm like, I can't even believe this is happening. I can't believe that when I speak out loud how crazy this sounds, that this is something they have. Memory manipulation. Those memory manipulation are just, some of them are just like so, it's so just obvious that it's being manipulated, but you can't do anything about it because it still goes into you as if like it's true. So whatever perception they added to it, whatever narrative they added, whatever sensation they add to those memories, it's not true. You sure it's not true, but you still feel like it's just real. um it feels like, yeah, this is it. And I can imagine myself not knowing about being a target individual, not reading the testimony, not reading the books, not watching the testimonies. And it just brings me back to before finding out about being a target individual. I would completely fall for it because I couldn't believe that just like it would be so diabolic. People would do something like that just to change you into something else. And but when you're educated and you start getting those mind games where the goal is to break you and turning you into something disturbing, disgusting in you, and make you self hate and putting this disturbing aspect of a memory that never happened this way, or you've never had those kind of perceptions, or never. it's it's just crazy to, if you don't know that this is something they've done to a lot of people and the same way, you know, you go for it, you accept it, you get lost in those thoughts and those, it's just crazy. And then me hearing testimonies of people saying, you know, like they're trying to change me, is like they, you know, I have to remind myself things that I do, and hearing somebody else saying the same thing regarding of what's happening to them, what the V2K is doing, and how they try to change them as a person, try to play with them, and then they have to find ways to remind themselves, remind their value, things that I actually do, and realizing, wow, this is really something they do. It's something it's meant to break a person's self-esteem, and they apply all kind of trickery, mind games, memory manipulation, perception manipulation, nonstop. And a targeted individual who's dealing with that has to remind themselves who they are, who they're not, you know, what this whole thing is about, educate themselves, because if you don't do it, you'll get lost into it. You will get lost into the slander, the defamations, you know, which is external. But the V2K, the mind games, that when they go in and able to manipulate your thought process, able to bend, it's just, it's, it's, it's amazing. It's not amazing, no good. It's just, it's incredible, but it's just diabolic. Um, and me being surrounded by people who are perps, right? They work hand in hand with what's going on in your brain. So they try to break you up, or maybe it's the other way around, where the perps trying, you know, slander, to say the same repetitive crap that are demeaning, disturbing, disgusting, and the V2K, that's, or the synthetic therapy that manage your brain at this point, you manage your thoughts, works in with it and just trying to take things and change it, and it's just so scary to the, it's crazy. It's just, you know, this started since 2019, August 19, 2019, the V2K, I'm saying. The Gangstalking started earlier on, but, you know, that is crazy on its own. But at least for that, you are able to start, you can deal with it in a way, you can remind yourself, okay, these people are just basically clowns, right? They're perps, you know, it's just, and then, you know, they're not the best actors, you know, they're not, it's just obvious that like it's rehearsed, and they, you know, um, but when your brain is start being manipulated by the synthetic telepathy or the V2K, now that's a whole different thing. You know, before that, whatever they say, I could like, but when your brain just works in and just intrusive thought, nope, that's, or something else, memory manipulation, but try to take something else as a child, whatever, mix it up, and you're like, your brain, it's like, this is really, they're trying to really change me, and I know my mind is being manipulated. I know things are being inserted, thoughts are being manipulated, memories are being changed, perceptions are being inserted. I know that. I'm aware of that. Does he annoy me still? Does he make me? Does he give me this sense of uneasiness? Yes, because it's not me, but it's still in your brain, right? I know it's not true. I know. But when it's constantly done over and over overnight, you know, then the dream manipulations are on. Sometimes they have like extremely disturbing dream manipulation. Then sometimes they have like just weird dreams where they make me go, you know, do some weird stuff. No, this is like very grotesque. You know, like, and we know, like, I know that you will hear the common theme in a lot of the targeted individual V2K targeting, the non-touch. the way they go for the degrading aspect of the targeting is it goes with one thing, and I don't want to say it here, but you will hear the same thing and what they go for, and what would degrade any person, especially any sane adult, is the extreme perverse. And I keep saying this perverse, and this the extreme perverseness of the V2K, and how they try to break you and may try to make you feel that this is something natural or is something that you have, and try to shame you for the way they're trying to implant those things in your brain, implant those thoughts that they're aware that this is the V2K trying to break you. Um, so this has been going on. Um, I think for me, really educating myself, continuing to watch testimonies, um, and being aware of what they're experiencing is important, because they're trying to change you, especially when it comes to V2K. And if you don't have the V2K, I think the Gangstalk is good to know that you're not the only one being, you're not this evil person they're trying to portray you as. I can imagine, for me, like, I'm not too much of a social being in the first place. So if you're an individual who are very sociable, who enjoy being around people, and you are being targeted, and it's just being gangstalked itself, that can be very destructive. It's on its own. It can be very destructive, and I was just, for the majority, uh, early on I was just gangstalked, but I didn't even know it was gangstalked, because I'm not somebody who's very social. I don't care much if some. I was more impacted by my family being involved, but then strangers I honestly probably didn't even notice really until I moved to New York, where I was away from my family, and then I was by myself. That's when I noticed, but it was happening when I before I moved to New York, but because I was focusing on my close ones, people and work, and it just didn't phase me. But when I removed myself from my family, which was participants, they made me feel like crap, and make me, the probably I was never, when family is involved, it's the most destructive. It's even more destructive than the V2K, believe it or not. It's even more destructive than all this disturbing crap they put in your head, because regardless, it's just something's off in your brain. But when you have your close one, people that you love, you care, and involved in the gang stalking, that takes another level, because you care about these people and they trick you. And that's when you start thinking of, you start feeling down. um that's the worst. Like, that was the worst, and I had to remove myself from that, which at the same time, that's what they want isolation. When you're isolated, and I can testify on that, and I notice the difference when I'm in my room, which is most of the time. The V2K, or the synthetic telepathy, has the ability to be more fluent. Like, they can really break me down and trail me into this false thoughts, like this false narrative they put in, and they play with your brain. Like, it's just like, it's more frustrating, because you're by yourself. It's just, and because you're isolated and you're away from reality, it works better. But when I'm outside and they say things like that, and the V2K works, but these perps, even those perps, seeing them, even seeing it's just like, it doesn't connect as much. But when I'm isolated in my room by myself for hours, which is the case, that's when the brain can work. It's like this V2K can play tricks, and you get really lost in that. So isolation, I removed myself from my family, because my family they were participants. They were really trying to break me in. I was at very low, very, very low. And when I moved, I felt better. Honestly, even though it was better than being closer to my family. That was very destructive. Not because their tactic was even. It's just because those people are people that you care very much about, and having people that you care very much about doing things so destructive to you, putting you down, trying to diminish you, it's it's so much more impactful. So now I'm here, away from my family and the people I used to love and care. And as much as I know that isolation is not something, it's not good for the target individual. If you have family that you can still maintain good communication with, good uh, interaction with, I recommend to be around them as much and cherish that. If your family members are not fully involved, if they're involved but not to the point where it's that destructive to you, try to stick around with people you care if you can. Um, but for me, it was just being so toxic that I had to leave. It was so bad that for my own health, like even the way I am right now is still better than when I was with my family that was like constantly putting me down and me wondering. At that point, I didn't even know anything about this. I was so far, so oblivious. I was just like, what is going on? What have I done wrong? Why is my family acting? The typical thing. And it took a big toll on me. So now I'm here. As bad as it is, it's not as bad as it was when I was around, the people that were some of my family members that were tormenting me. But what I'm losing now is the sense of reality sometimes because with the V2K and the manipulation, the persona they try to overlay on me by doing all kind of trickery, doing all kind of like thought manipulation, memory manipulation, perception manipulation, stimulations, libido stimulation, which is so degrading, um, and other stimulations that I can just, speak on it because, I'm not, I don't, I'm not I'm no scientist. I'm no physician. You know, I don't know how the brain works. I didn't go to college for that. I went to college, right? And there's things that I'm finding out that scares me. How they stimulate people, all the hormone they can control and unleash and endorphins they can throw. It's just and so much of you is being changed. Well, you're that's not natural. I've been alive long enough before the the V2K impacted in my life, so I know me. I know what would trigger me, what didn't, and now this is all controlled by somebody else, and it's scary because that person, those people who are controlling that, their goal is to break you. Their goal is to um, to harm you. The goal is to destroy your self-image, everything. So imagine them having that control. What would they do? What would they stimulate? When would they stimulate it? And mind you, the slander outside of external slander, like you have people who goes around say terrible things about you, and then there's people who control your brain, control. But I don't want to demoralize anybody. I just want to speak, you know, in a way that you are not alone if this is happening to you. If you're having something similar to what I'm saying, you're not alone. There's a bunch of people. You're not alone. And there's people even more vulnerable than you being targeted in your country, in your state, and beyond. So remember that you are not alone. Whatever they repeat over and over to destroy you, whatever they repeat to degrade you, however people are treating you, this is systematically done to people of all caliber, of lifestyle. It's the same thing over and over. You will hear the same testimonies. They might have a little bit of differences here and there. Some might be specific to something else, but they all have some of the same tactics. It's like a palette of paint, and you pick. Some of them have all of the colors, all the all the paint. Some of them have a few. You're not alone, and I'm at this point continue to educate myself. Now, when it comes to YouTube, I apologize if I don't respond to comments. I know that I appreciate everybody who's commenting, watching it. Yeah, I mean, I'm also aware there's people there that are there to, just like I'm being targeted externally and in my real life, I'm sure there's a lot of people also that there to break me and via YouTube comments and others. But and I know there's others that are truly there to learn and are experiencing the same thing, if not to learn, but to uh, to see what's going on. Um, but I don't want to get lost in this. No, I know this. There's trolls, right? That's the easy. I mean, it's easy to do that. It's not like V2K where it's technology that's hidden. Anybody can be trolled. So that's the easy way to target somebody online. So that's why I don't spend that much time. I make my video. I express what's happening to me, and I'm doing it just to make sure that people know that they're not. This is happening to so many others, and it's happening to me. And maybe you can connect with what I'm saying. Maybe you cannot. Maybe you're intrigued to know more. Maybe you want to give me some more information. I'll take all the information. Please don't feel like I'm ignoring you. But I also know that YouTube is a platform that they can use to kind of degrade you, insult you. So I know there's people's, that trolling, and that's why I'm not engaging as much. But I always want to continue to give as long as I can, give my testimonies because who knows, something happens to me. I want to make sure that people hear a story. They don't need to know my name. They don't need to know who I really am, like my 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 face, and I just want the story to be said. And so, if something happens to me, I've done something at least to tell a story. The reason, like I said, the reason I'm not putting, I'm not showing my face and all, it's not because I'm ashamed or I'm hiding. Like I'm not ashamed of me. I think I'm a decent person, but I know that this, people who are not involved in this, which I would have loved to be one of them. Um, they see that and understand. They would see that as somebody who is, who has mental issues, and that's because this program is meant to create this kind of like if this is meant to make somebody appear that way because the gang stalking itself, having random people following you, harassing you, that can sound in itself can sound delusional or paranoid. Having coworkers making sure that to that gaslight you, that harass you, that is also sound like somebody could be paranoid. Now all those tactics that they use is already something. Now mixing a technology that majority of people don't know exists. If they knew, they would be terrified. Like imagine that tell them that this technology, that's the capability of the technology is to manipulate one's brain and change perception and stimulate all kind of things and insert intrusive thoughts and all of that alone like sounds insane. So that's why I'm hiding because I'm still functioning in the society that is targeting me. I know they want to throw somebody in the hospital, like in prison, or they want to destroy. So I'm aware of that, but I still want to tell my story. Maybe one day I'll be as strong as all the other target individuals that I've talked and able to express themselves. And as humiliating as it was to talk about what's happening to them, and I want to thank them I want to thank the strong target individual, all target individuals that post about their targeting. It's not easy. It's not easy to tell people about what's happening to them physically, emotionally, mentally, and the disturbing things that go through their head because of this technology and what they're trying to break this person into. It's not easy to say like the degrading manipulations. So I want to thank them. I want to thank them, and I hope that if you're a target individual, you tell your story. I only tell my story. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a next. I was not in the military. I'm not. I was a typical civilian who had a 9 to 5 job, who has a 9 to 5 job, but per, who's went to college. Um, I was just so I can't speak to you uh, a subject matter expert. I just can just talk to you about what's happening to me, and I will continue until I can't. But I know and I hope that even if there's one person out of all the people watching who can say that, okay, this video helped me understand something, I hope these videos do that, because that alone helps a lot. So thank you again for watching. I hope that you're getting something out of it, and that's my goal. And I'm telling you, just be strong, as I'm trying to be strong. Justice will be done for what they're doing. The people involved in this will be reimbursed for what they're doing. Things like that, they when people are involved in this kind of things, one way or another, it comes back. So in the meantime, maintain your dignity. Know that whatever stage in life you are right now, however things look, you have more dignity than any of them that are participating in this. So stay strong. Find something that keeps you strong. Could be religion, could be meditation, and if you have people that's still in your life that care about you, it could be them. Stay strong, and no justice will be done for what they're doing to you, me, and the thousands or maybe millions others like us. And don't harm yourself. Don't harm others. That's what they want. So just stay strong. Don't harm yourself or harm others. Thank you, and God bless you guys.